What up, my fellow Knick fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now, this has been an interesting season so far. Sometimes the offense looks like the engine that we all thought it would be. But during other periods of the season, whether we're going through injuries on the bench or with the starting unit, we might just want to hold off from all the shit talking. And rough periods like this are sometimes a good thing. The Knicks sort of lucked out in the beginning of the season with some of their matchups, going up against the Phoenix Suns with no KD, the Orlando Magic without no Paolo Banchero, and even the Dallas Mavericks with no Luka. And injuries do provide a nice little sample size of what the squad needs to work on. But hey, I'm not going to say no more. Let's just get to it.
Game brings magnetism. And once you get this game and you digest this in your spirit, you got to be able to speak this game, though. Looking good ain't good enough. Looking good ain't good enough when it comes to this game.
Alcohol, right?
So it's crazy how things are going now with the team having injuries with the starting unit. In this game right here, Josh Hart as well as OG Anunoby are out. So the team has to be more detail oriented, especially with Cat and drop back coverage. Because with him in this situation, he's always having the team be on recovery mode. As right here, they quickly ran pick and roll. He's way back here. Vooch pops out. But look at everyone. Now they have to recover. The team is constantly trying to recover on defense. Look at Cat. Of course, he's still back right here. But eventually now he's going to leave Brunson right here in a 2v1 situation. Brunson has to choose. And of course, the Bulls are able to knock that down. But the Knicks are constantly in scramble mode. It's either guys are getting beat off the dribble, like Brunson and Mikal Bridges at times, or Cat in drop, and now they run pick and roll against that, and the team is constantly trying to recover. That's one of the many things that's haunting us during this stretch right now. And we're going to get more into this bag because things like this really stand out when the Knicks go up against some of the top teams in the league, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, the Oklahoma City Thunder. What all these teams have pretty much in common is that they have a very deep team, a lot of guys coming off the bench that could defend multiple positions. They're not afraid of having some of those same bench guys guard Towns one-on-one or just being able to switch. And that's why I had mentioned earlier during the segment that the Knicks avoided a lot of these teams early on in the season, going up against the Orlando Magic, who in a way is designed very similar to the top teams in the league. Very deep rosters. Same thing for going up against the Dallas Mavericks with Luka being out. We got cooked by Kyrie. And we also avoided the same issue going up against the Phoenix Suns, in which Kevin Durant was out. But again, going up against these type of teams, communication has to be on point. Right here, LeBron is one-on-one with Cat on the island. The Knicks don't want to leave him there. But watch the communication between Deuce and Brunson on this recovery right here. The miscommunication right there. And now Christie is left wide open to take the shot or attack the closeout. Now, I don't want to give the Lakers all the credit right there because this team was not that deep at that very moment they were playing the Knicks. But again, you're seeing in a small instance how miscommunication, along with OG not being on the floor, as well as Josh Hart eventually, but not in that game, but just not having guys in that starting unit and just Cat being kind of the weak point as well as Brunson, you begin to see where the dominoes start to fall. Now, going to the elite teams within the league, because I don't want to give the Lakers all that props. So for the Knicks this season, they're going to have to start getting organized real early in these possessions. This is where teams are really killing them all year, especially in transition. But right here, the Cavs get Jared Allen involved to pull and involve Towns within a one-on-one situation with Mitchell going downhill. But this is where Towns could really avoid this situation by having OG right here switch. See, once he sees Jared Allen setting a pick right here, he instantly tells OG to pick up Allen. And of course, Mikal is going to be involved with Mitchell, but now OG would be involved in this whole action right here, this whole scenario, defending it while Cat would pick up another man. And eventually down the line, he would switch with someone else to remain down here. And the communication has to happen real early. I've seen Draymond Green pull these type of moves off. But Cat right here, see instantly he's involved in this. And now he's backpedaling against a speedy Mitchell. Here it is again. Knicks got to set up real early. This time is no communication between Mikal and Brunson. Right here, it's going to be a stagger screen by the Cavs. Double action right here. See, no one switches. No one's available to switch right here. Miscommunication. And of course, Jarrett Allen, he's rolling right here. So Knicks are not even ready to defend anything. We all know Cat's going to follow. Cat's not only way behind Jarrett Allen, it's an open shot. So Knicks are not ready on either side. Let's look at that again. See a simple switch right here. A simple switch. Mikal takes Strus, and then Brunson takes Garland. And then Brunson gets involved in this action right here. It's probably going to be another pick and roll. But everyone for the Cavs is serviceable. You got Hunter right here. You got Morrell. They got a bunch of bench guys coming in and contributing. This is why I say the Cavs, the Thunder, the Celtics, they all have these things in common. A bunch of players coming off the bench contributing on these teams. And also there's young teams a couple of tiers below them operating the same way. The Houston Rockets as well as the Orlando Magic. But again, right here, we're seeing early communication is key. Again, real early on, the Knicks are going to have to get organized right here already. This is where teams are picking the Knicks apart. The scouting report is already out there. Just organize on them real early. They're going to get us confused. As right here, they're going to run a stagger screen. And Williams right here, he rescreens. But Cat is still in drop back coverage. So Brunson is supposed to recover. But they might as well switch. I don't know why the Knicks sometimes are scared to switch. But they might as well. Because to give up open shot like this to SGA, it doesn't make any sense. But again, the Knicks are going to have to organize themselves already by the time the possession starts early. OKC early in the possession runs that same play back again. You got staggered screens followed by a rescreen. 2 rescreens, if at that. Meanwhile, Cat is in drop back. And with OKC, they have a bunch of serviceable players who can make shots. And they have no problem generating good looks. Look at that, it's wide open. The Knicks are always constantly scrambling to recover, and sometimes teams are getting penetration way too easily. Here's Hartenstein wasting no time. And man, I'm gonna miss those screens, boy. Hartenstein will truly be missed this season. He was hooking us up. Smart basketball plays, just gritty. Great movement, side to side. He was everywhere, man. He was like Josh Hart this season. But right here, he sets the screen real early on. Towns in drop back. I mean, this is too much space for Williams. Williams could easily just pull up. But again, look at the makeup of this team. They got serviceable guys all around. And it leaves the Knicks defenders constantly rotating. Now right here, we're going to see this in reverse. Look at the Knicks throw the same stagger screens. But we're going to see the difference here with OKC's defense. They're not afraid to switch. And this right here has been killing us in last second plays where we got to make defensive stops. Just us not trying to switch. Someone's always trying to recover over the top. It leaves guys open for pull-up shots. But right here, as you can see, this right here is what we missed about Hartenstein. The mobility, the trust factor. OKC is not afraid of leaving him one-on-one out here with Brunson. Let's look at that again. Look at the chemistry with this defense. Switch right here. Here's a switch on Brunson, 1. And here's another switch by Hartenstein. Defender right here recovers. Talk Porty. This season, at times, the offense has been looking in sync. But when it comes to the defense, it's got to be the same way. We got to see some sort of similar flow because there are going to be a lot of games in which we need to make defensive stops in order to make comebacks or protecting the lead in order to close out a game. This is a nice example of it right here. The Lakers going down the stretch trying to close out this game. 8 minutes left. Single digits. But the Knicks refusing to switch right here. Josh Hart got caught. And now Christie has a nice situation right here. What is he going to do as the roll man? Check out Gabe Vincent making his run. This is why we always in scramble mode. So right here is the crunch time play with no Josh Hart, no OG in this game. Right here, pick and roll. It's 12 seconds left. They got to get a defensive stop. No switch. Mikal trying to recover. And look what it leads to. Lonzo Ball was wide open. Even tried to stunt on us in the garden. I see you, Lonzo. Nice try, though. But it ain't work. Look at Lonzo Ball trying to stunt. But again, the Knicks not switching right there led to another open shot. They're constantly scrambling. This is why it's so hard to sometimes close out some of these games and just get that defensive stop. Again, right here, it's okay to switch. Mikal got caught. He's caught. It's okay to switch. Just let them make the play. That's way better than some of the options that come up. Lonzo really tried to stunt at MSG. That was not happening. I'm not trying to hear a reference to him making this shot the next time the Ball brothers decide to release another viral track. Fuck out of here. But ironically enough, in this very same game, the Knicks finally trusted themselves in order to close it out and made that defensive switch. You got to force the Bulls players to take that shot. They got to make the play. So 7 seconds left in the overtime, 2-point game. Tibbs finally wakes up. Look at all the switching that happens. First here with Mikal, and then second here with Shamet. And then we get a third switch with Precious. So you got to force these guys to make the shot. We don't want to give them the space, the clearance to pull up and make that. And now you got to force them to make it happen. See? Now the pressure is on them in order to make the shot. Going back to the Cavs with a very similar setup right here. A lot of serviceable players who could score. Ty Jerome, Murley, and then you got DeAndre Hunter right here. But looking at this action right here, these guys are going to try to avoid the switch. See, Shamet is caught. The bigger Hunter is trying to gain position. And at times, the Knicks are going to have to force him to make this play and just not leave him with the advantage off the recovery. Like, he has complete position right here on Shamet. I understand Brunson is smaller, but if someone's caught on the screen, they're caught. Of course, the Knicks are going to be disadvantaged on some plays. That's a given. But it's going to really come down to the keen details, especially with the leaders of the squad like Cat and Jalen Brunson. Now, Isaac Okoro is going to set up a screen right here, and he ghosted completely. So he's going to roll right here. And look at Towns, very slow to react. It's almost as if he's nowhere and somewhere at the same time. Nowhere near Okoro. And then in case Mobley wanted to pull up, he's nowhere near to defend that on the closeout, especially being so slow-footed. Again, it's all about the smaller details. Remember, in this matchup, there is no Josh Hart. There is no OG Anunoby. So making sure things are on point very early on in the possession is key. And right here, pay attention to Karl Anthony Towns and the sidelines. He could use it to his advantage, but he shows he's going to hedge real early. A little bit too early. And Garland reads it already. And he rejects it. He has an open lane but misses it. But for Towns to organize himself is going to be key and use certain areas of the court to his advantage. He didn't necessarily have to step up that early because regardless, Garland really has nowhere to go. And this right here is inexcusable from Cat. He has awareness that Murley's in the corner, Garland's coming down, and just look at his movements. I don't even have to say much. Inexcusable. When it comes to the details on defense, the whole team could use an evaluation. Check out Mikal and Precious right here, and also check out Vooch. There's either a miscommunication or lack of it. And things are getting pretty unexcusable because we are midway through the season, and these guys have logged in a lot of minutes together just to be having these rookie team mistakes on the defensive end. In transition, we're going to take a look at Cat as he's trying to recover. He just looks lost. So it's bad enough the Knicks already had lost key starters. OG Anunoby had went out for that game, and Josh Hart has been in and out that lineup. And during that stretch, interesting enough, the Knicks had pretty much broke even. But with guys like Precious Achiuwa just getting more of a start, he has shown glimpses that he could hang, but other times his lack of details on defense, it really shows. But there are a lot of holes. The transition defense, the pick and roll switching, or just Cat being in drop, and just his situational awareness is really low. There's a lot of things stockpiling on top of each other, and the Knicks key guys like Brunson and just Cat, they kind of set the tone for this defense. Even though they may not be the best players on that side of the ball, they are the leaders of this team. And with Josh Hart and OG out, they're gonna have to set the tone and just be a bit more detailed. So in this matchup against Houston, I'm surprised the Knicks were able to survive this one, because Houston is one of these teams that are on the come up, and they have a lot of players, especially Tari Eason, Amen Thompson. Those guys were once bench players, but they started in this matchup and they've been making a killing this season. Houston is probably one of the top defenses in the NBA, top 3. But right here, it is a one possession game. When you look at Brunson and McBride on this pick and roll, trying to avoid the switch once again, you're going to see Brunson kind of get in McBride's way for a split second. And with Thompson, especially him and Jalen Green, these guys are fast as fuck, man. They'll get right through that. Houston's able to take the 1-point lead, and you could tell Josh Hart, he is frustrated right here. He's completely frustrated. Again, in this matchup, no OG Anunoby, and the team is really being put to the test this season, just being in these very close games, having to combine things like getting a stop, getting a defensive board, and also converting on the other end. Those 3 things this season have kind of slowed us down from making certain comebacks. And it definitely played out the very first time we played Houston back in November. But it is what it is. The Knicks in this stretch kind of broke even, but a lot of holes in that defense. And one thing that really kind of gets overlooked is the defensive rebounding during crunch time. In that game against Toronto, with about 25 seconds left, the Knicks gave up 3 straight offensive rebounds trying to secure that game. And we kind of faced a very similar issue going up against the Atlanta Hawks in that game in which Trae Young rolled that dice and did that bullshit. But Knicks really can't afford to keep lacking on the details when it comes to defense, because we have a lot of things going against us. But there's still plenty of breathing room, as the Knicks have, 30 plus games left. So we'll see how Tibbs can shake things up. If the team doesn't really respond, hopefully that doesn't mean that they tune the coach out. But we'll see. Until next time, you fellas, stay safe. Peace.